Brian from Crack Kenshin. I'm working on doing some basically on board game videos, video game videos. This is my first one. I am actually going to do an unboxing video for a Kickstarter that I just got in. Figure it's a good place to start. I just got the Kickstarter in for CMON's Zombicide Green Horde Wave 2. Basically what happened here is Zombicide is a series of games that they have. Green Horde's the newest one that came out back in, I think it was February. CMON went ahead and they sent out Wave 1 of this Kickstarter, which was basically the base set of the game itself. I already got that, went ahead, played through it. So all those components kind of got mixed into something else. They finally decided to go ahead and, once they got everything in, released Wave 2, which is all of the Kickstarter exclusive stuff, all the expansions, all the add-ons. So that just came in actually this past weekend. So I wanted to go ahead, do an unboxing video of that, and see how things came out. So as it turns out, after I did the unboxing video, we had a chance to sit down and play with all these expansions. So there's going to be a little bit at the end of this video, correcting a couple of things that I state in the video itself, and just some final thoughts on it. So thanks for watching, and just let me know what you think, and hopefully I'll do a couple more of these. So some of the first things I'll look at here, going from kind of like the way it was packed in the top of the box down. First are two of the characters, individual character packs. We got Liam and North the Halfling. And these guys here, I'll show you the character art here. A little bit of a glare. These guys here are based on characters from Stranger Things, and I'll be honest, I've never watched an episode of Stranger Things. I couldn't tell you the names of these characters, but I definitely recognize that's who they're supposed to be. To see, basically what you get with these hero packs are you're going to get an individual card, which is the player dashboard, so their stats and everything, their skills, and then the individual miniature as well. So those were just the only two individual heroes that are in this thing, and these actually typically fetch a decent price in the aftermarket because I think these might be Kickstarter exclusives. Next up are going to be a couple of things I really like here, which are the individual special guest artist boxes. These typically give you like a hero and a villain in here as well. I got 3 of them, and I think that's all the special individual hero. Yeah, the special guest boxes here. So I'll open up these here really quick. First, we got Sean Murray, and they give you stats on the back. Sean was a D&D artist. And open them up. And also, say these are for Gateway Uprising, which is another CMON game. So I think these might be characters based on Gateway Uprising. Oops. And yeah, so what you get in here is you get 3 heroes. Oops. You get 3 heroes there and 1 more villain. I'm gonna assume that the villain is a necromancer. Yeah, Innsmouth. Normal necromancer rules. So these are necromancers are used obviously in both sets of the game, in both Black Plague and Green Horde. And open these guys up, and he actually looks pretty cool. Next up is Adrian Smith, who is a Games Workshop artist. He's also done stuff on the graphic novel Hatred or Hate. I forget what the exact name of it is. And if I'm not mistaken, he had done some characters in the first Black Plague set as well. These are pretty cool. And these actually here are just 3 villains. So look like they're going to be necromancers and extra monsters going on with these guys. So in case you haven't been able to tell, the heroes in the Zombicide game in Black Plague and Green Horde are brown, whereas the necromancers or monsters, villains, end up being gray. Yeah, those guys definitely look like guys out of that Hate graphic novel as far as their style. Should be fairly fun to paint. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, these guys are, this guy here is Doom, that one's Gloom, and that's the Lord of Skulls. And then the last one, this one actually really excited me when I got a chance to see it. Paul Bonner, again, I believe he did a set in Black Plague. He's another former Games Workshop artist. worked on things such as Shadowrun, and you can definitely tell that he was a GW guy when you see one of the characters in here. And I couldn't wait to get a hold of this set. So the guys that you have here, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that right. Phelan is the necromancer that's in this set. You've got Carol Blackoak, which there looks like she's got a little bit of a bent hammer. Should be able to bend that back. And these were the two figures that really caught my attention here. So Tola, when you look at that, that is definitely a GW style orc. So that's pretty cool. It's a really hefty miniature. And this is a hero, which is cool, considering that this is Green Horde and you're fighting against zombie orcs. It's really nifty that they actually put a orc hero in there this time. And this guy here, Kirag and Thorg. Now, I didn't read the rules yet, but I remember from the Kickstarter. So looks like you got a dwarf riding on top of a behemoth of some sort. But you kind of have a Master Blaster set up here. When remember from the Kickstarter, these guys actually worked as two individual characters. So this is actually two heroes here. So I believe they each have their own stats, their own dashboard. So that should be interesting to see how that plays out. And then next up here is Rat King and the Swamp Troll. Again, not sure, one Rat King miniature, one Swamp Troll miniature, and a bunch of rats. I believe these are going to function as abominations as well. Typically all the monsters functioned as abominations in Black Plague. The Swamp Troll is an abomination spawned by. Meanwhile, the Rat King holds court with the zombie rats. So actually, it looks like the Rat King is his own type of miniature. Maybe we'll follow Necromancer rules. So, actually, now looking at the card there on the Rat King, yeah, he spawns with a number of swarm of rats. That's nifty. And take a look at these here. Alright. That is a weird looking troll. It's kind of have fins and everything. Never quite seen that style before. Pretty nifty. Horns and tusks coming out of the front of his face. He's got like a grappling hook as a weapon. And that Rat King, that's pretty cool. He's got a giant feral rat here with him. He's pouring some out of this bucket here. And then I forgot about these rat swarms, and this is nifty because I was looking for a rat swarm miniature to proxy in for something in our Gloomhaven game. So, rat swarms run over a hero. There's a sword stuck in that pile there. So, that's a nifty set. Alright, next up on the docket are cards. This is a expansion for a crossover set for Massive Darkness, which is another cool minigame. They're dungeon crawler based in the same universe. I've heard people say that it uses the same mechanics when it really doesn't. Mechanics are a fair bit different, but uses some of the same characters. They did the same thing for they did the same thing on the Massive Darkness campaign where you could bring in the monsters from the Zombicide set into this set, or into Massive Darkness. So, take a look at, yeah, it gives you rules for using some of those things there. So, there's a massive amount of the characters, and these look like these are all going to be based on the primary characters from the game. So none of the Kickstarter exclusive ones are in this set. Which is fine. There's a lot of characters in here. And it looks like there are special rules there for using Kirag and Thorg together. And on the other side, it's going to have their character sheets. These go into the dashboards in Massive Darkness, obviously. And it looks like that you get roaming monsters, which is using one of the necromancers there. Yeah, so those are bringing in the guest set monsters, orc abominations, and then using some of the monsters as well. So it adds a lot there to Massive Darkness, which is a very fun game. Also here, we've got just non-retail packaging things. Fatty bursters, plastic hedges, plastic obstacles. I wasn't sure if I wanted to get these. The fatty burster miniatures are just another type of zombie in the game. And they look like they're actually regular zombies, not necessarily orcs. So these are gigantic, pus-filled fatties. And I believe they explode on you when you kill them. I think that makes sense, or if they get close to you. I'm trying to remember from what I had read. But so you get a couple of those guys there. These are additional ones. One of the expansions has a couple of them in there as well. Those are just really cool miniatures. And then these guys here, the plastic hedges, plastic obstacles, are completely frivolous, but when I saw them, they looked really cool. Packaging's not the greatest, but all these are plastic hedges and plastic barricades that are designed to just add 3D elements to the board so you're not using the cardboard ones. My group loves to use 3D stuff whenever we can, so these are fairly inexpensive, so it was worth picking them up. I mean, I'll still probably paint these or at least shade these a little bit just to add a little bit more detail to them and make them look cool. But for what they are, that's awesome, and they're actually really heavy plastic as well. The other thing is I can use these in other games, namely for doing some overworld stuff in D&D, just to add some more scenery to place out on the map where we're trying to block off areas from my players. So, unfortunately I can't show you everything in the actual Green Horde box because Cool Mini decided to go ahead and send out Green Horde back in, I think it was February. We got it, played it, liked it, knew we were keeping it, so we started combining it with the Zombicide Black Plague stuff. So between these two boxes are everything minus all the miniatures from Black Plague. Both games, so all the cards and boards and everything are mixed. So I can't really show you what you get out of those. What I can show you, though, at least, are the miniatures that came in Green Horde itself. So I have those separate still. As you can see here, this is where the cards and player dashboards would end up going. So what Cool Mini decided to do on Green Horde is go ahead and, these got a little dislodged, is to go ahead and combine, or sorry, go ahead and make the characters green because they're orcs. That's nifty, or that's pretty cool. So you've got your 6 basic heroes that come in here. You've got a bunch of the fatties, the walkers. You got an abomination, which there's always a base abomination that come in these boxes, and a necromancer. This one here is just more of the same types of miniatures. One thing that's new to this game are siege weapons. So you got a trebuchet here, and that goes on the board. Looks pretty cool when it's out there on the board. And these are like specialized weapons that you can use. So that's what comes in the base of a fair amount of miniatures, not many heroes. That's fine. That's where all the expansion stuff comes in. And if you have Black Plague, you can play that with the additional miniatures or additional heroes from Black Plague, and you can also go ahead and combine everything here. So you don't need any of that if you don't want to do anything else. So that's the base of Green Horde. So you've got 2 small expansions, Friends and Foes, No Rest for the Wicked, and then a big, it's not even an expansion, it's miniatures, and that's the Horde box. I think I'm going to go look at the smaller ones first. And when I say smaller, they've got the smaller thin box as opposed to the Zombicide box, which is about twice as big. So Friend and Foes here. And it actually says that it's an expansion for Black Plague and Green Horde, so either or will work. And you've got your rule book, of course, and that's going to go over some of the basic new rules. This adds tainted monsters to it. Looks like it adds dogs again. So it's bringing in. Looks like it's bringing in some of the stuff that was in the original Zombicide, the modern day ones. So it brings in the different types of effects of the zombies themselves. They remind me of the toxic zombies from the original the original Zombicide, where if you attack them with a melee weapon, they would actually end up injuring you as their toxicity splashed on you. So you got your rule book there. You have, looks like 4 double-sided boards. So these are your new maps. And then you've got a lot of empty space in this one. You got a number of cards. So I see weapons here, and also looks like there's zombie cards there, and a number of heroes. So there's 4 new heroes in this one. And okay, I was curious how they were gonna actually make these guys stand out. I can get this open. So I got these guys open. These are the familiars. I don't know the difference between the colors on them, between the 2 shades of brown. You've got your 4 heroes here, and it looks like a wizard, warriors, nothing fancy. This new tainted abomination, and then tainted zombies. And these actually look like a mix between, possibly between orcs and regular ones. Important thing, and yeah, these look like they're just like the toxic zombies, which these guys are all spiked. And these guys, this is the abomination from the base set. So they are totally different shades of green. So if you're not painting miniatures, you don't have to worry about trying to decipher which is the toxic zombies, which are the basic zombies. Or, sorry, tainted zombies. So, next is No Rest for the Wicked. Again, Black Plague and Green Horde expansion, so whatever one you're working with. Love the artwork on this box. Really nice, very vibrant. And it has a very awesome figure in here. So again, have your rule book and lots of color. So again, same thing, have your new rules. All right, here we go. So got your monster cards again, and looks like your siege weapon, sorry. And definitely a whole lot of color going on here. So you've got spectral zombies or just ghosts. That's a really cool color blue. Those don't even look like they need to be painted at all. Maybe just a shade on them if I'm going to do anything with that. You have a balliste, which is another siege weapon. So you can replace the trebuchet with this one, I believe. And it's up to you on which one you want to use. A bunch more rat swarms. So they get their own cards, then you'll get the Rat King. And then this is awesome. This is a zombie dragon. And it looks like it's just, yep, pieces just slide in. You don't need anything else for that. That is an amazing miniature for a board game. Obviously, compared to Games Workshop stuff and things like that. Considering this is 2 pieces that you put together and just glue in, storing that, if you're not keeping these boxes, is going to be a pain in the ass, but in which I tend to do. And when you compare it to the size of a standard miniature, so when that shows up on the board, that's going to be amazing. I don't know the rules for it, but that looks just great. And then the big guy here, and when I say big compared to the other boxes, you see it's a bit thicker. So Zombicide Horde box. It doesn't say Black Plague or Green Horde, so you can use it for either one. Assumedly, orcs, I guess, are not going to matter so much if you're not playing with the Green Horde stuff, but all the other heroes and characters in here. And that's what this box really is. This, where the other ones add new rules, this guy is just your additional characters, monsters, everything like that. So, I stand corrected. There actually are some rules, and I understand why there's some rules in here now that I remember what's in this box. So there are some rules. Mentions the zombie burst, the bursters, the ballistae. So that's weird that you get a second ballistae in this set. Some of the other abominations, they all have their own special rules. A new tile here, and I think this is just for the Horde that gathers. In Green Horde, you'll get a card that tells you to add zombies to the Horde, and you just put them off board. This is just, honestly, just a tile to put them on. So, nothing important here. So, a whole bunch of cards. Again, these are all the heroes that come in this game, which is a lot. The base has the original 6, the other expansions just added 4 to it, and then the individual character ones. Monster cards, and it looks like there's some new items in here. Items are always great to get. And this just slides out. Alright, and this is why I wanted to keep that other zombie out here. Or that other dragon out here. Because it was hard to tell from the Kickstarter. So this is just a black dragon or a chaos dragon. So, very cool miniature. Compared though to that spectral dragon or the zombie dragon. Big differential in size there. Yeah, so there's another ballistae. Not sure the reason for giving you 2 of them. Would have been cool if they give me like a battering ram or something. And then a bunch of different types of abominations. Not gonna go through each one of these here, but it looks like you get some orc types, a couple of like a troll here. This is an orc one. Minotaur-ish, I think. A zombie giant. I have no idea. A zombie unicorn, and this is actually a zombie of, I want to say the name's Chronicus, which is a monster from Massive Darkness. So they actually made a zombified version of him. More crossover. This one's just hilarious, and it's a knockoff of the monster from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the Horror of Arg. Sorry, I'm losing my nerd cred. This is the Kavefi. They named it after President Trump's gaffe on Twitter. And this I didn't realize was going to be in here. And this guy's actually a hero. So you've got a giant hero in there. That's really amazing. I didn't realize that they're going to have something that big as a hero. So that's layer 1. Pretty straightforward stuff. And here's layer number 2. And as you see, you do get some more zombies. You might think, oh hey, why do I want more of the basic zombies? If you haven't played the Zombicide games before, if you need to place miniatures out and you don't have any miniatures, they activate again, which is a very big game mechanic. So adding some more zombies to that actually helps you out here. So you get some more fatties, another necro, looks like some more runners here. So you got those, and some of those bursters, another necromancer, 2 necromancers. And this little guy here, another Monty Python reference. It's hard to see, but that's an abomination. So it's a man-eating rabbit. Again, another Monty Python reference, and some of those burster zombies here. And the cool thing with the Zombicide things, especially on the Kickstarter, are all the pop culture references here. And I'm not going to know all of them. I'm not going to catch all of them, but some of the ones I can spot really quick. So you've got Bram Stoker's Dracula. You've got Bavmorda from Willow as villains. Amongst the heroes here, the ones I can really quickly spot is you've got actually Muhammad Ali. You have a Princess Leia tribute figure, or Princess Leia tribute character. And you've got some other celebrity tributes. You do have a Lemmy Kilmister here. You do have a Prince. There is a Ziggy Stardust tribute in here. There is a Freddie Mercury tribute character in here. And you've also got some superhero ones in here as well. You've got a Wolverine knockoff tribute whatever you want to call it. There is a, if I can find him, there is also a Iron Man tribute here, and when you see the artwork, it actually makes a lot of sense. And there is a Storm tribute here. So there's a whole mix of characters. The characters obviously add a lot to the game, a lot of replayability. When you mix this set with the heroes from the other Zombicide set, there's got to be over 100 heroes now, or close to it, which adds a ton of variety to the game, makes the replayability awesome. All right, cool. So where to begin on this? As I mentioned at the intro of this, we being myself and a couple of my friends, had a chance to sit down and play through this version of the game. My girlfriend and I had played through Green Horde back in February when we got the game in originally. We played through with just the base game. Thought it was pretty cool. If you had played any of the other Zombicide games, especially Black Plague, it's very similar. Main differences in the game are that the zombies do some more damage to you, and there's this whole horde mechanic, which means that throughout the game, more zombies are being added on to a horde space, which once that horde card comes up, they're all going to come onto the board at one time. So it's kind of like this impending threat. Pretty simple. It's very fun and actually quite a bit challenging. Add some other mechanics to it as well, like hedges and water spaces and things like that. Now, with all the stuff from the expansion that just came in, we played with a couple of the characters, mixed them up. Four of us played. We played with 2 characters each, which is doable within the rules with a little bit of a modification. And they were pretty fun. With pretty much any Zombicide game, the characters, their usability are going to vary from game to game. I kind of got stuck with some characters who were really good at melee, and because of all of the expansion monsters that we put in, I couldn't really do jack with them for most of the game because we had a lot of things that were devastating against melee. And that's where some of these extra zombie types come in, particularly the spectral zombies. You can't hit them with anything other than magic, essentially. Those toxic zombies, or the tainted zombies, those neon green ones, when you attack them or kill them with melee, they explode on you and do damage to you. And then those fatty bursters, which are so far my favorite mechanic that got added in all these expansions. The fatty bursters, as soon as they get into a melee space or within the same space as you, they blow up, but they can also kill other zombies as well, which can be cool, and we almost had to use one of those mechanics. So all in all, those are pretty cool. Well, we didn't do anything with the Rat King and the Troll and the rats. I didn't want to overload the players because there were a lot of mechanics that were in there. We did put in a mixture of some of the necromancers outside of the normal necromancer rules, and a number of the monsters that they have in there, replacing the abominations. Surprisingly, those didn't really come up. They came up at the end of the game for us, which is very rare. Normally they come up earlier in the game. So we didn't really get too much of an experience with those. So I wanted to make a correction from what I said in the unboxing video with some of my assumptions, and that was regarding the dragons and the ballistae. So the reason that you get 2 ballistae is you can use 1 per dragon if you decide to play with 2 dragons, which we didn't do any of the dragons. Those have been a little bit tricky to work in. The dragon mechanics are pretty devastating. They look like they're a challenge. But if you decide to play with 2 dragons, you use 2 ballistae, because that's one of the only things that can kill them. So there's that change to it. The only other thing that I can recall misspeaking about was, I think that was it, actually. I might have messed up a couple of names before, but all in all, the game's pretty much feels like Zombicide. If you were making a decision on if you want to go out of your way to get some of these expansions, especially the Kickstarter things, what I would recommend is don't bother trying to find the Kickstarter exclusive stuff. That it's the amount of content that you get in there is really cool. I don't know if you necessarily need all those characters in there. It adds a lot of variety to it. I don't know why I keep saying variability. But I definitely would go out of your way if you can to pick up the 2 smaller expansions, which you don't need the Green Horde expansion to actually use. That was Friends and Foes and No Rest for the Wicked. They actually include the mechanics that you need to use some of those orc type zombies that are in there. The Spectral Walkers, like I said, were pretty cool. That so far is, I think, between the 2 expansions, is the cooler one to get, because you get those Spectral Walkers, you get those rats, and you get that zombie dragon that are in there. The other one, you get minions, which act like dogs if you had ever played the original Zombicide. So they're just extra things for the heroes to do, and then those tainted walkers. If I'm going between the two, I'd say get no rest for the wicked, and then get friends and foes if you want to. Definitely try to get the guest artist boxes too. Those characters are really cool. We had the chance to. I used Tolag, which was the orc. He was kind of tough. The one guy was going to use that double mounted character, and decided not to. He wanted to go with the giant instead. But all in all, great thing. My only concern with the game is the fact that it's a beast to store if you have all this stuff. I tend to condense all my boxes down, and I'll put my minis in other containers. And even still, I think I'm going to have 2 or 3 full-size Zombicide boxes worth of stuff right now that I need to pack away. If you like to save your boxes and you have Black Plague and Green Horde and all these expansions, you're going to have basically about 4 cubes of an IKEA shelf essentially filled with this stuff. Right now I have an IKEA shelf that is just CMON games, because I back almost all of the CMON Kickstarters essentially, and they come with a lot of miniatures, a lot of boxes. So that's all I've got here. Hopefully, this was informative. Anything else was more of an experiment for me to see if I want to go ahead and keep doing these. So if you like this content, go ahead and leave a comment. If you I know I made some mistakes in the video. I went back and I watched it. I had some mic problems, a couple of things like that I'm going to fix if I do any more of these. But go ahead, leave comments. If you want to reach out to me, reach me on Twitter at @crackedkenshin. And also, I'm going to be doing some streaming stuff on Mixer at that same address, or at @crackedkenshin on Mixer, where I'm going to be doing some painting and maybe some gameplay. So go ahead, check those out. Let me know what you think, and thanks. That's all I got.